Welcome back to another episode. So, this one's gonna be more concise. I hope the editing goes well on this one because, yeah, we're gonna basically go through every single cave from 4 to 10. Obviously, I'm not putting the rest of the caves, that'd be too much work, wouldn't it? And also, it'd not be as fun. So, yeah. What we're starting off is doing cave 4 and then trying to get all the iron needed to upgrade, which, yeah, I made a little oopsie at the beginning. Forgot to equip my support pig, but anyways, yeah, just like to say again, thank you guys for liking these videos. Working more, working hard, kind of hear the whole jig. Like and sub, so let's move on. Oh, and I might as well introduce this mechanic that we have for this cave. So basically, this just has a chance to stun one of the 3 birds you have or your allies. Pretty annoying, so you're kind of forced to have something with this, or what's it called, with cleansing abilities. In this case I used Rainbird, which is a good excuse to also use Chuck again. Now, yeah, no, this is just very filler, very heavy, so I'm just going to showcase more fights in these videos and maybe have some commentary based on what happens. So, like right now, yeah, check out Stunned. That's all I need to know. And now we face Monty, which is very similar to the one that we first fought early in the game. Which only difference is instead of a chance to dodge, he just heals. So all we just do is dispel that with Piggy Anna Jones and then just attack. And that's not really that hard to do. Yeah. I will admit though, I feel like you could easily get away with using something like Princess instead of Druid. I don't know why I did Druid in the first place, because yeah, the stun from the Ice Prison is pretty annoying, so you don't want to deal with that. So I would recommend something of like Princess, obviously for heals, and then just offense, and of course Piggy Jones, because the Dispel is really good. And after that fight, we end up buying some new elites. So I got the elite Skulkers, and then I got the elite Berserk. Which, yeah, some decent pickups. I don't know about... Oh, I also got Knight as well. Can't forget about that. And now we reach the final boss, which is just the Ice Shaman Pig that's stronger and has a little attack that basically can stun your teammates. Added with the Ice Prison effect, you can see why it's a must to have a lot of Dispel users in this cave to get rid of those negative effects, which in this case I did do that. I got both Princess and Rainbow. In case one of those were down, the other one will always be able to remove that negative effect. And I used Paladin because, well, it's Paladin. I can get some heals, which is very useful. Now we unlock the next piece of iron, and we also unlock the Infernal Firebug Cave, which, yeah, we'll go more into that later. So let's just go into buying the class right now, which, if I remember, I do the smart decision, which it's somehow between Corsair and Ninjas, which, foreshadowing, I do a bad decision later on, so watching for that. I got Corsair. And yeah, slightly underleveled. Pretty annoying that they come underleveled. I get it, but damn. That's why I kind of had to force this episode into one, because it's kind of how it went. I had to buy a lot of classes, all in very close days, maybe even in the same day, just so that I can not have a chance to make them really underleveled, which they kind of still are to this day, some of them, so that's unfortunate. Oh, and I guess we can talk about the effect for this cave, which, yeah, it just does damage to everyone. It's not a lot, it's like only a couple hundred, and unlike a future cave, which kind of applies the same mechanic, as you can see only does 100, it could do a lot more. This is just kind of a tame version. I think that's kind of the point of these caves, to just show you the progression of how hard they'll eventually get. And we obviously pick up the Elite Pirate, and I also pick up the Elite Wizard, which means, yeah, they're pretty much, besides a few classes, that's kind of all the important ones from the shop that I bought, and it's just kind of my mission to do that. I ignore the others because there's either upgrades available or I already have decent ones, and yeah, right there, need Bard. I also might as well introduce this new, like, kind of trio that I really like using in this cave, which involves having the Priestess, having the Rainbird, and having the Cannoneer. Which, having the Priestess heals with the Spirit Link and have the Rainbird effect just does so much healing. When you do that chain where you connect everyone together, and then right here, get some pretty good heals. But it's when you use that Rainbird ability and you have all the Spirit Links, it just does so much heals. It is just beautiful. And you might see this team come back, maybe. You never know. I think this team might make a return somehow. You just gotta wait and see later on in the series. That's all what I'm gonna say. And now we face the Birthday Leader, which just does a little bit of damage, but it applies a negative effect that deals more damage and can summon more. So, very simple mechanic right here. Now, I would recommend actually using someone with the Dispel ability, maybe a Pickiana Jones, Lightning Bird, Tricksters, really anything, because it's not the boss that's the annoying part, it's his minions that he summons, because those bring him shields, and those shields are pretty strong, so you kind of want something to deal with that instead of boosting your damage. So that's just a little recommendation, but again, this boss is very easy. I'm already halfway through it, and I just talked for like a few seconds, so yeah, easy fight. You already get the deal. It's just a stronger fire old man. Yeah. And again, my strategy, very easy. Just shield up when he's ready, and then have the lightning bird as a way to provide electro shields, whatever it's called, so that he takes more damage back. Yeah. Easy. Not hard. Okay. Now this cave has a different mechanic now, because now it's focusing on just them being more fat and tanky, which in a undead cave, yeah, it's pretty annoying because you gotta deal a lot more damage to them, and if you don't, the risk get revived. So you can see it's a pretty good synergy, so props to that. And I mean, you can be very clear why this cave is annoying. You see all those health bombs right there? Like, they really want to like heal up these pigs, so it's common to see a lot of these bombs, but I've never seen this many in these levels, so it's a first for me. And yeah, this boss right here, just the Franken pig, pretty simple to understand. And I would just only recommend this Prince Porky, obviously, because he has those little zombie buddies next to him, and with his Rage Chili ability, well, he can just shut that down entirely, so that's why I would recommend that for sure. Also, look how tiny he is. I didn't even notice how small he looks. Just kind of funny. Little funny boss right there. Besides that, easy pickings. Now this is the real final boss. He just does damage and crits. Dispel and healing time. We unlock the boss Lawrence in the next cave, and we also get the next piece of iron, which you might now know what I'm gonna buy. I wish I didn't buy the ninjas. I will always say it and I'll say it again. Buy this class last. You absolutely should not buy this. It is an awful class. So just get it, but don't use it. And I guess we can also introduce the mechanic, which just takes longer time to fill up the rich chili. And pair that up with the Wild Wing ability is actually a really good combo for the pigs because, well, it takes a long time to build up that chili, and once it's stuck at a pretty high, percentage, it's pretty hard to get it filled up, and they keep on doing more damage. So, not in these fights, don't see Wild Wings at all, but I like the mechanic. I mean, you've probably seen it before too if you just played a little bit of this game, so yeah. And once again, Piggy Jones with an insane shield this time. If you hit them, you get 90% damage reduction, which again makes me bring my own Piggy Jones. So, yeah, how about that for a fight? It's like that Spider-Man meme. And yeah, because I know you can't really shield up against him, I just relied on Paladin and Princess to just kind of get the heals. And yeah, oh wait, actually this one's not immune to the, what's it called, the negative effect. I don't know why I did this. It doesn't even matter because he gets dispelled in the first place, so don't do that what I did. So just keep on going. Now you may see the ninjas being used finally. Now, I don't really use these classes or really show a lot of the footage because, again, most of the time I'm just using the iron classes just to kind of give them mastery and get them to catch up. In this case, just want to showcase this. It just makes the pigs miss a little bit, has a chance to miss, like right there. And its special ability, its support, basically makes where it can't take a certain amount of damage, but it depends on the blue's amount of health. Which I've seen a strategy where you can just purposely make the blue's health very low so that the effect is really good. But that requires it to be weak, and you kind of have to redirect the damage to a certain bird or else the whole strategy just doesn't work. So, very, very niche, very, very trash. And as you can see right here, I do it right here. It's not that bad, but would I use that over any other bird that can do other, like, utility? Yeah, it's not that great. Just a hard pass for me. Oh yeah, and Lawrence does a lot of damage, lowers your attack power. I remember struggling with this fight when I first played the game when I was like very young. Now that I'm a grown man, yeah, this is very negligible fight, very easy. and I decided to use ninjas, I guess, because I can't stop using them. It looks peak. The design looks sick, because again, it's just the legacy tricksters, but the class itself could absolutely use a rework. I see it as just like, yeah, no. Especially if PvP is brought back, I don't know. Could it be good? Maybe? I don't know, I could care less about this class. And Wild Boar is basically, I mean, you've seen it before. It just does more damage after a few turns, and it lasts a few turns. Makes it especially helpful for those pigs that just, you know, deal a bunch of damage consecutively and can just dish out a lot of damage. And yeah, after that quick fight, we just show the Scientist, which pretty underwhelming. Just a lot of negative effects and cleansing, so you kind of get the idea. Shield up, have Princess to heal up, and then just whatever we can get as our third support, just use that. And I feel like this boss was reused again as well, Cabin Boy, because that feels very familiar to an early game boss we had back around, I would say, the early game, which, yeah, it's the same idea. And I'm again trying to use ninjas, which, yeah, no, at this point, I think I'm just coping and just trying to see if I can get away with it. It's still a trash class. Don't pick it up. Please don't. So now we get the next piece of iron, and we also unlock the next cave. When we also end up buying the Ronin, which I would say is a pretty good pickup. I would recommend it solely because of its shield, because I actually really like how this shield just makes it immune to a lot of stuff until you take a certain amount of damage or the spell. Especially in a niche situation, or I want to say it's niche. It's just like, and oh yeah, we're also in Pigpen, which just summons pigs every few turns right there. See, just a random little pig spawned in. It would be more chaotic if it was like similar to the Wisp Pig fight, where just any pig could be summoned. Like they literally any pig. And then we reach the mini boss, which, yeah, it's a mini boss. Just shield up, heals up, and just protect. I would say once again, it would have been nice to get the lunar healer in this situation, but because of my mistakes buying the ninjas, I'm forced to use just this combination. Piggy Jones just removes the shield and then just heal with Paladin, deal damage, and have the Sorcerer deal a lot of crit damage. So yeah, very easy. It's like not that hard. Now, I don't like cutting to certain clips because I feel like the whole gameplay has its use, which by the way, they will be uploaded around these days, so expect that. But just look right here. So this 4-man pig up there applies some shield breaker that causes us to be weak to damage. And okay, you see he's building up, he's charging up, and I would say my fault for using Paladin, but I shield up. You would think maybe, just maybe he would take less damage. But this is spread damage. Yeah. Murked. He got murked completely. And that's the end of it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm not bothering with explaining this ability. This is just the regular format that you would see, just conveniently enough, the ability where, you know, having, was it, more damage as he loses his minions pairs up very well with Pigpen, so I guess I could see why it's a hard boss, or I would say, like, why the mechanic pairs up with it so well, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yes, that's good, but early game, this thing gets murked easily. The rest of the pigs that come in are just distractions, if anything, so not a difficult fight. And now we're into the last and final cave, which it just has is healing rain. So every few turns, the pigs would just get a bit of healing. In this cave, it's very minuscule, so you wouldn't really get a lot of healing. I would say, if anything, a lot of these early caves reflect on how they will be more difficult later on, with some of these modifiers getting more worse as you advance through the game. Because in this cave right here, it's a little bit of healing, but in comparison to, let's say, a future post-game cave, specific one in particular that I'm aware of, yeah, you are gonna notice that it's a lot more healing than it is right now, so be on the lookout for that. And you've seen this before. A lot of damage, heals up with the little lollipop thing he got. Yeah, I think this was on the original game where they just use a bunch of the old enemies and just make it fat, just so that, you know, they're stronger, but yeah. Again, would be nice to have the lunar healer. You're starting to see why you should pick up really everything before you get the ninjas, especially the lunar healer. I think lunar healer is one of the best ones to get, especially with the utility it has with being able to prevent heals. So this side would be much easier. I'm just saying. You're starting to see why I regret this, right? Yeah, look at all those heals that could have been prevented. I have made it very clear that yes, Lunar Healer should be up there, and I might as well go on a little listing. I think I did it before, but I'll do it again. So I would recommend obviously the Corsair first, because it's really versatile, and then Lunar Healer just because of the great utility it provides. Ronin because, well, it's Ronin, it's pretty solid, honestly. Sorcerer, honestly, it's not the greatest, but in the early game, I feel like you could easily take advantage of it because it shreds through a lot of the early game caves, and again, easy way to farm up mastery on it too. So that could also be a thing. And then just, yeah, let's just ignore those. And now we unlock the final piece of iron, which marks the end of this video. So for future caves, I'll probably only do like 5 at a time. And of course, we'll upload the original, full cave in unedited uploads because I know some of you guys like that footage instead, which is fair. I would as well. And yeah, no, the only reason I even did an extended video, which, oh yeah, by the way, peep that, tough as hell. I only did it just because, well, you can obviously see the process of getting all these, and also why you should do it, because look at this, right now, I am getting all these chests that I save up and leveling them up, because I will say you're gonna unlock these much more later. Probably should be the last classes you should be getting if you're trying to optimize, you know, mastery, because the power creep is real when your classes are severely underleveled. And to this day, some of the recent pickups are still underleveled, which, by the way, I did myself the right thing. Ninjas are still underleveled for boosts. Not completely, but still trash. The rest, though, commit to them. They will have their uses, especially. It just depends on what type of areas or what situations, so always recommend getting all the chests and all that. So, yeah, that'll be it. And I guess just to like give a heads up, this is slowly becoming the end of the series of Angry Birds All Stars. I will eventually be posting much less in the later weeks, as I'm gonna try to upload new stuff and just not make this whole channel around this game. I really want to try other stuff, and because this game is pretty good and popular, especially with also just other Angry Birds stuff in general, just being like up there, I might as well be hopping on the trend, I guess. But it's also a good way to just kind of get back to the game that I really liked. And yeah, that'll be it for real this time. Expect some uploads in between of just some caves, and then I hope to get event wrap up after this. Either it'd be the next episode or the episode after that, because yeah, I want to get those out the way as well, especially with, yeah, as I show right here, that's one of the events I need to showcase. So that'll be it. See ya, and I'll see you on the next one. Like and sub too.